So I've been thinking for a while now about what we share on social media, how we present our lives, how we present ourselves, our feelings, our opinions, what we're going through, what our daily lives look like. And I've been thinking about sharing what I've been going through, particularly to do with my health. As many of you know, I have not been well the last few months, and some of you know that I was in hospital back in Easter for a few weeks, trying to fight off glandular fever, and it not going so well, so I had to spend time in hospital and have lots of antibiotics and antivirals and doctors doing numerous tests, blood tests, bone marrow tests, glandular tests, CT scans, x-rays, you name it, to try and figure out what's going on. This isn't the first time I've been in hospital. If you've known me long enough, this is actually my third admittance and one of so many hospital visits, dozens at this point, to try and figure out why I seem to be more susceptible to illnesses and getting sick, and why it takes longer for me to recover. This started back in 2011, when I got pneumonia, double pneumonia, as I sometimes jokingly refer to pneumonia 1, because unfortunately I then got it again in 2016 and had to be hospitalised both times and put on an IV drip for antibiotics. For 9 years, I had so many tests, I've lost count how many, to try and figure out why my blood always seemed to be lower than everyone else. I was given not so much a diagnosis, but an explanation. How could I phrase it? A name for what my blood looked like, which is called pancytopenia, which in English pretty much just means low blood levels, and pan meaning more than one. So as well as my red blood cells and my white blood cells and my platelets were all below normal and have stayed below normal since they first discovered it in 2011. So it's obviously now been over 8 years, almost 9. And until this year, I never got a real reason or firm diagnosis of why I have pancytopenia. As some of you know, at the end of my hospital stay at Easter, I was told that I had results come back for genetic testing, and they had shown that I had a mutated gene that affected my GATA2 levels. Now, I won't go into the complicated science because, to be honest, I barely understand it myself. But I do know that GATA2 is important in the development of your bone marrow and particularly your immune system. So the reason why I was unable to fight off infections, particularly more serious infections like pneumonia or strep throat, was because, to be frank, my immune system was incapable of doing so without help. I needed antibiotics, otherwise I would have been seriously ill or not here. And so I can't try and describe to you what it was like in that moment, to find out after 8 years of testing, getting sick a few times, going to hospital, and each time staying there even longer than you were the time before, to finally find out that they know what's going on, they know what's wrong, so to speak, was a weird mix of relief, fear. I was scared because it was genetic, that it would be passed down to family members, or that they had it too, which thankfully they do not. As we later discovered, I am a mutant. I am an X-Man, as I call myself, one of the X-Men, because I spontaneously developed this myself, which is apparently quite rare 5% of 1 in 1 million, to be fact. So there you go, talk about beating the odds. It hasn't been easy to find this out, though. I had my first meeting with a department of doctors that I'll be meeting with a lot in the coming months and probably years, because the only treatment for a GATA2 deficiency and to repair the damage done to my immune system and to make sure that I have a sufficient immune system as well as blood levels, red blood cell levels, my energy can continue or go back to being healthy, is for me to have a bone marrow transplant. I'm 30 years old. I've been sick on and off and terrified of getting sick since I was 21. I had a meeting on Thursday that told me an overview of what a bone marrow transplant will look like. I'll have chemo. I'll lose my hair. It's going to affect other things in my body. I probably won't be able to have kids. Not biologically, anyway. I had to keep it together in that meeting. I was with my parents. They were already upset, I could tell, and trying not to cry in front of me or the doctor. Not that I would have really minded, because I can't really imagine what it's like for a parent to watch your child suffer. And I wouldn't want that for any hypothetical child that I may have. The doctors are amazing, and the team that I have supporting me are amazing, and the chances I have are positive, they're good. I have a match in my amazing sister Lisa. My amazing sisters Carla and Lisa, who both instantly volunteered to get themselves tested so that they could be the bone marrow donor, which I can't really repay them ever for. And I guess a small comfort knowing that if our roles were reversed, I would of course be the first to volunteer, because that's how our family goes. But I'm still only 30. I'm gonna have chemo. I'm gonna lose this, which is such a small thing, but for some reason really gets me down. I'm gonna have a bone marrow transplant. It's gonna be probably about 5 weeks or so in hospital. Not one of my favourite places. In fact, I hate hospital, because I've never been there to really visit people who are sick and been the healthy one. I've never had really a positive experience so much as me injected with tubes, masks over my face, barely able to move, losing weight, looking not myself. But I am gonna get better. I'm gonna be stubborn enough to make sure that I do. The odds will hopefully continue to be on my side, as they have been in some ways so far, and against me in others. I guess you don't really realise how reliant you are as a person until shit really hits the fan. And I might be feeling a whole bag of shit right now, and a ton of emotions that I can probably barely try and put a name on because it's all swirling at once. And I know it's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse for me before it gets better. And I'll try not to focus on complications or worst case scenarios or after effects that I might have to live with until I die at a hopefully very old age. I don't know if I'll keep these up. I wanted to be honest. I wanted to show truth of the shit as well as the good, and the meh, and the in-between, and that it's just okay kind of days. Anyway, if you're watching this, or you're listening, or if I've even uploaded it, because there's a fair chance I'm going to delete this, thank you. I will try and keep you updated throughout this time. Yeah. I don't know how to sign off, so I'm just going to say